Welcome to day 3. It is Gloucestershire versus Sussex in the County Championship. It is a fairly gloomy morning with a breeze which seems to have just died down to start with, but the sun is due to come out later on, and we have potentially quite an exciting day in prospect, with Gloucestershire resuming their second innings on 140 for 3, trailing by 62 runs. The first ball of the morning to be faced by the night watchman Ed Middleton, Jade of Anadcat to bowl from the pavilion end, and the first ball pushed away out into the offside for no run. Ed Seaborn and Andrew Rayburn for the first half hour, and then Sophia Smale will be along with us as our third voice today. And as far as Sussex are concerned, this could be the day.
Good morning, Ed. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it could be, but of course, a lot of hard work to be done before then. As far as Sussex are concerned, Gloucestershire will be eager to play their part on, as you say, what is a gloomy start.
Anadcat over the wicket, left arm, bowling to Middleton, who's forward defending.
And the wicket last night, which was, Miles Hammond was well received by the Sussex camp afterwards. I spoke to Jack Carson. You can hear that interview on the BBC Sussex Sport Twitter page. They were very pleased to have got that one and to got the night watchman in, but of course Middleton will be looking to hold up an end. I noticed he tried to get off strike on the first ball.
Anadcat bowls to Middleton, back of a length, and this is again pushed to point. But the thing is that he's a night watchman in the sense of he was sent in to see through the night, but he's not a night watchman in terms of the fact that he's a tail ender coming up, even though he is down on the card at 10. And it was interesting to see that Zaman Akhtar was pushed in ahead of him, but he would certainly consider himself a bowling all-rounder. So, it's not as though he ought to be just a free wicket for Sussex to take equally as Anadcat bowls to him, and he will get a run this time, finding the gap in the covers. Quick single, shy at the stumps, will miss, but would have had no effect in terms of a wicket, even if it had hit. So the first run of the morning, 141 for 3.
Well, we saw in the Sussex innings, although obviously Henry Krocombe more a specialist bowler, he was coming into that night watchman stint off the back of a half century.
Yeah.
He played one really good lofted drive and then tried one lofted drive too many. Obviously Middleton's done his job to protect, I think, James Bracey in next.
Yes, indeed. Anadcat to Dent facing his first ball of the morning. He's bowled him! First ball of the morning. Chris Dent, who battled so hard yesterday for his 61 from 157 deliveries. It's his 158th ball that has seen him dismissed, but his first ball of the day. It's a dream start for Sussex as Anadcat gets one to straighten on Chris Dent. It was pretty much the perfect delivery. You talk about top of off, that's exactly where that was. And Sussex have a fourth Gloucestershire wicket. They still trail by 61 to Gloucestershire, and that is not the ball that you want to be getting first ball of the day.
Wow, that is a corker, and he just seemed to play, looking at the replay now, he just seemed to just play down the wrong line. It just seemed to, it was a cracking delivery, and knocks off stump out of the ground. So Sussex could not wish for a better start.
Indeed not, and yet again, it's happened. It nearly always happens. The night watchman isn't the first out of the day.
Well, yes, we were discussing. It makes our last 2 minutes redundant.
I would love to know the stats on that, actually. We need a Zoltzman or a Andrew Sampson on that, in terms of the number of times overall.
Should we text them?
We could do. I don't think they'd respond, but the heck are these idiots? But anyway, it does seem to happen a lot. So James Bracey comes out. He's not had a great deal of time to process what was going on out in the middle. It's effectively as though he started the day anyway. So he joins Middleton, and Gloucestershire needs some big partnerships. The feeling was that Zafar, who I spoke to last night, he'd sort of said, give me 160. That's looking a long way off at this point. Unadkat, 2 slips in the gully, bowls to Bracey, wedges down into the ground in front of gully, and a good stop is made there to prevent any runs. So Bracey just facing that 1 ball, that over, and Unadkat bowling fairly similar a delivery to the one that got rid of Chris Dent, maybe just a fraction fuller. Bracey going at it softly enough that it fell short of gully, but this is going to be a testing spell this morning. The conditions, especially 10:30 start, you always feel there's likely to be something in it for the seam bowlers up front. Sussex bowled a lot of spin yesterday to good effect. It was an excellent day for Jack Carson in particular, a couple of wickets for him and top scoring with the bat. But no surprise at all that they've gone straight to Messrs Unadkat and Robinson this morning, the men who did the damage chiefly for Sussex in that first innings where they bowled Gloucestershire out for 109.
I know I asked, not having seen the first day, I asked yesterday at some point how you felt the conditions differed, as we see Robinson now come in from the Ashley Down Road end and bowls a short one first off to Middleton, who ducks underneath that. But I've just spotted a cat who appears to have wandered
Bruce.
in.
What's Bruce doing on the? I don't think Bruce is used to the temporary stand being there. He's looking a bit lost.
Is this a regular cat, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's a shame. Because he comes here for the food from people on the picnic tables, which are normally down there.
Oh, I see.
But of course they're not there, so now he's got no idea.
And
where
he can't read the signs that says coffee and donuts. As Robinson comes in and bowls to Middleton, who's playing defensively out into the onside. Don't worry, we'll start talking about field settings and what's happening in the middle in a minute. But we have a cat, so I'm going to talk about that.
It's much more exciting.
He's currently wandering over the covers down by the sort of mid-wicket boundary.
He's got a long way to go there. He's going to have to go all the way, like, basically hugging the advertising boards.
He's getting a bit of a move on now. Ginger and white, is it?
Yes.
Yes. My eyes are not deceiving me. As Ollie Robinson comes in and bowls to Middleton. Middleton plays that out into the covers and he'll come through for a quick single. Takes him on to 3 and Gloucestershire to 142 for 4. They trail now by around 60. So he's now over the covers, and
so it's clockwise for. Remind me, it's right for runs, left for wickets, isn't it? So Bruce has got the memo in terms of runs for Gloucestershire this morning.
Yeah, although he appears to be exiting stage left, so I don't quite know what that means. Draw? Is that what we're going? I don't know.
No, he's still.
He
doesn't really fancy going through the picket fence, really.
No, well, there's a couple of people wandering around. He's going to wait. He's
gone
disappeared
through
now.
The fence. Yeah, there we go.
It's probably where he's parked.
Off over there.
As Robinson comes round the wicket to the left-handed Bracey, and Bracey plays that out into the offside. No run.
We were discussing, was it last match here even, or a couple of games ago anyway, Animals stopped play. Oh no, it was at the Oval, wasn't it, with Mr. Whiting. Would be with Mr. Whiting, wouldn't it?
Good old Dan.
Discussing Animals stopped play, and a game in Nairobi which was stopped due to a lion on the field.
Well, you would stop
Slightly different sized cat.
Yeah,
here.
I think you would stop play if that were the case. As Robinson comes charging in round the wicket and is beating Bracey with a shorter delivery, back of a length. Bracey half played.
There's still a bit of life in this pitch, which for a day 3 pitch at Bristol to see still, and I know Simpson's probably not as far back as he might be at other grounds, but he has still taken that with fingers pointing up, and that is not something that you see very much on day 3 at Bristol. It's been a pretty good cricket wicket so far.
Robinson turns and bowls and clipped off his hip by Bracey. There's going to be a shy at the stumps, and it's hands on heads time for Sussex fielders who feel that was close. I don't know if they'd have been in trouble had it hit. It's always very difficult. Umpires tend to give benefit of the doubt to the batters anyway, but he came through for a single. And at the end of the day, it's in the scorebook as a run, so who cares? It's 143 for 4, and Gloucestershire trail by 59.
It was a tricky combination there for Middleton, who's maybe not the fleetest of foot in the Gloucestershire side, and then he also hesitated, I think, twice as Bracey
never
called
what
him
you
through.
want.
So he made that into a tricky single, one stump to aim at, but yeah, it was tighter perhaps than it ought to have been. Means Bracey's kept the strike, Unadkat bowling to him wide outside the off stump and left alone by Bracey. There's already been quite the start at the game at the Oval, where Durham are 3 for 3. Although 2 of them are
the night watchman. That's
because,
right. We're going to be back to our night watchman discussions.
yes, because Callum Parkinson was the night watchman sent out to face, I think it was 2 overs last night.
That's
and
right. He got
lasted
that first
1
ball.
I mean, it's Dan Worrell. What do you expect? And Adcat runs in, he bowls to Bracey. This one is the one that comes back towards the stumps, but Bracey's forward defending it away. So the second night watchman, Daniel Hogg, bowled by Worrell to what I assume was the 4th ball of the morning. And then Ben McKinney, who should have been opening the batting but has come in at 4, was dismissed second ball LBW to Worrell. So he's got figures of 3 for 1 from 2 overs.
I want to see somebody do what Don Bradman did way back in the day. I want to see somebody reverse the batting order entirely. That's what I want.
Unadkat bowls to Bracey, who is well forward again and defending this one out to cover.
Because if you know you're going to have 2.5 hours of heavy cloud cover and then it's going to be bright sunshine later, you want your top order out there to thrive in that. But of course, back in those days, it was all about the uncovered.
There's a slightly difficult part to that logic in that if batting conditions are tricky, then it's probably going to be more tricky for people who don't know how to bat.
No, but there is a slightly perverse logic.
No, I know what you mean.
And if it's good enough for Don Bradman.
Unadkat bowls to Bracey, who taps this one away to mid-on. No, there's logic to that, isn't there? In that if they can survive, 40 or 50 balls or something like that, then that takes quite a bit of time out of it. But
because then you're left with people in the middle who still can't bat and in bright sunshine, and they still don't know what to do with it. So
yeah, well, I think this is where, in English conditions especially, lower orders have had to evolve so much in recent times, so that now every side's got people who can go out and score a counter-attacking 70 or 80 at number 8 or something like that.
Well, Phil Tufnell will always say that he'd never practiced his batting at all when he was playing.
And Adcat bowls, and this is clipped down fine by Bracey. He's not quite got it fine enough to pick up 4, but he will take a second run. Well, I mean, his second run. They only ran 1. Make that clear. 144 for 4. It's good stuff this morning already. Clear.
It'll get so much better. It'll get so much better when Sophia comes on.
It just can't get any worse, can it?
Don't worry, you've got 2 amateurs at the moment. We've got a professional coming in a minute.
So we've got 1 delivery remaining in this over, and Adcat is switching to around the wicket. What does he have on the back of his shirt? Jadev, right. Round the wicket he bowls to Middleton, who comes forward, is hoping for a single just out into the covers, but has hit it too close to Robinson at mid-off, who can pick up and field and stroll with the ball towards umpire Bainton to hand his cap over. And Gloucestershire, they've added 4 runs this morning, but they've lost an early wicket. Chris Dent to his first ball of the day, squared up by a delivery from Unadkat that it may have just straightened a fraction, or it may have just been one of those which was just bowled top of off, and first ball of the morning with the feet not quite where they were yesterday. He missed a ball that he probably would have hit yesterday.
Ollie Robinson is bowling to 2 slips of gully, a backward point, couple of close catcher on either side of the wicket. He's edged and caught at gully. And Bracey goes. Ollie Robinson strikes now. Came round the wicket to the left-handed Bracey, got it in the right area, just moved away slightly. Bracey had to play, took the edge, good catch, and Sussex have 2 wickets in the first, well, how many minutes have we played? In the first 15 minutes of the morning. And this is turning into a very good morning for the visitors, who are looking hungry to try and seal promotion to the top flight today.
Yeah, well, they've just taken a huge step towards doing that. Not just 2 wickets, but it is Dent and Bracey, the established batter yesterday, and then Gloucestershire's leading run scorer this season, a man who's passed 1,000 runs, and a ball that, well, again, it's one of those where you'd say, especially given Robinson has been moving the ball in from round the wicket off the pitch as well, it's hard just to say, well, you didn't have to play it that. Okay,
I think
it
did
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, it wouldn't have hit the stumps, but you don't know that as a batter when Robinson's been getting that sort of movement.
Well, when he came on, I know this ball's 54 overs old, but when he came on first yesterday, you know, he was getting things to jag back over the top of the stumps to the left-handers, especially from that end. I think he's bowled primarily from that end, if not exclusively.
Yeah. Well, the innings defeat, having looked as if it was starting to become a distant possibility, is very much back on now. Still 58 runs Gloucestershire's deficit. They are 5 wickets down. Graham van Buren, Gloucestershire's captain, has made his way out to the middle and under quite some pressure, under cloudy skies with 2 international quality operators plying their trade.
Robinson coming in now to bowl to Van Buren, who plays that out towards point. And there's no run, but there is a lot of chirp, as you might imagine. Any team that, whatever position they're in the league table, any team that takes 2 wickets in the first few overs are always up and at 'em. I watched some of the warm-up this morning on the outfield. Saw a team meeting from a distance, obviously, but saw them all looking very hungry for this. 2 slips, kind of 2 gullies as Robinson comes in and bowls, but that's on hips for Van Buren. He'll play that down to find leg and come through for a single. But there's been a fumble actually by Henry Krocombe, but they don't
took
take
his eye
a
off the
second.
ball at the non-striker's end. He just apologising to Middleton now, but he got to the other end, then looked down and strolled around for a bit and didn't notice the fumble.
See, that's and I didn't notice that because I was looking at the fumble. So there you go. See, which just shows you need 2 eyes on it.
Yes. Well, it also helps the fact that the monitor is obscuring the particular part of the field where that happens. So I've kind of got to look at the.
Are you going to blame your slouching again?
Not this time. No. Just the positioning of Gloucestershire's equipment. No. No, it's great to have it.
Ollie Robinson from the Ashley Down Road end comes in and plays bowls to Middleton, who plays down backward of square on the offside for no run.
No, I've graciously allowed you to have the seat, which.
Oh, is this? Would this be your?
Course, yes.
I do apologise.
No, not at all. I don't have a favourite seat, contrary to what some commentators seem to think. Well, you know, Doidgy comes here, and he's always as the Yorkshire commentator. This is, of course, comes here, and he's always very, you know, I don't want to sit in the wrong seat.
As Robinson comes in to bowl, and a good shot back down the ground over his head, it hit into the ground from Middleton. It's going to go up towards the boundary at the Ashley Down Road end. It's going to. Oh, I thought it was going to be hauled in, but it's not. It's gone all the way to the boundary. So yeah, it's one of those. I do love those shots. So they pay it into the ground and it goes above the bowler's outstretched arm.
Yes, it was
and
a teaser
past the fielder as well for the dive. Yeah,
teaser for the bowler who thought that
3 of them in route.
Yes, that's true. The fielder running back to the rope as well in Adcut. I'm not sure he particularly fancied a head-first dive into the advertising boards there.
No, it's quite close, isn't it? The boundary rope to the boards back there. So it certainly seems to be from this far view.
Yeah, well, it's a problem, isn't it? Because you've got to have the advertising boards there. That's the non-negotiable.
As Robinson comes up to the wicket now, he bowls, and defensively Middleton plays up the pitch.
You know, so it's a short boundary anyway, so it's getting towards, I'm not sure it's right towards the minimum boundary length, but it's got to be getting that way. And then you must have the County Championship sponsors boards there, so that on all the footage that is seen on social media, which is taken from front on either way, that the sponsor's logo is quite literally centre, if not front. So yes, it's not really a place for diving about there. And actually, even that shot making it to the boundary, the outfield, as I've mentioned, is it's not slow, but it's not as quick as sometimes it is here. Very quick outfields at
and
Bristol.
also as well for a bowler who's actually in action at the other end, so you want to be a little bit careful yourself.
An Adcat bowling to Van Buren, and he's forward and playing this one very competently up to mid-off. So the batting that's left for Gloucestershire, Tom Price due in next, Zafar Gohar, Zaman Akhtar will be down at 10 in this innings because of Ed Middleton's elevation in the order, and then Dom Goodman. So there is still batting to come. However, it's starting to get to the point where most of it needs to come off with these 2 early wickets this morning. And an Adcat hunting a third, round the wicket bowling to Van Buren, who pats that one away out to backward point. And there is no run. And it's actually starting to get towards a situation that's quite similar to the reverse fixture between these two sides now, where I have to look at the exact numbers, but just off the cuff, it was about 6 or 7 down that Gloucestershire were going into the final day, trailing by this sort of margin, and then the lower order wagged, Zafar Gohar in particular, making a half century. And Adcat bowls to Van Buren, who's forward and playing a firm little forward press out into the covers, and because of this attacking field there is no protection right there at cover, so a single can be taken, which brings up the 150 for the innings for Gloucestershire. 150 for 5, still 52 runs behind. Zaman Akhtar got some runs on that occasion as well, ended up 21 not out. It was an excellent match with the bat actually for both Zafar Gohar and Zaman Akhtar, with Zafar making a 60 and a 52, and Akhtar ending up unbeaten in both innings with a 45 and a 21. So there's now a fielder going in at a very short second gully as Adcat bowls to Middleton, back of a length. It's poked into the offside and straight to backward point. So Ollie Carter under the helmet. He spent a lot of time under there yesterday against the spinners, but now I mean, it's almost, we've got 2 conventional slips and then sort of like a 4th and a 5th slip in much closer. Now if you're the batter, you're thinking, just give me a short ball. I'm just gonna
aim it towards them.
Exactly. I'm just gonna absolutely leather it towards there. They are so close. And Adcat into Middleton, all leading edge this time. I thought that was going to be a ball that could be played into the leg side. It's been misfielded by Foreman, but not to any cost. He's so quick that a few more scampering strides and he's to the ball anyway, even though I think he went to pick the ball up quickly and then sort of ended up throwing the ball away from himself. But Middleton takes a single, but it was not a single where he intended it to go. But at least from his point of view, he's got off strike. He moves on to 8. Just a slight hint of some sunshine, but still under clouds. We've got a short extra cover in now as Van Buren has hit this one past the short extra and past cover. And again, not hit, he squeezed it really into the gap and takes another single. So 3 singles from the over, and it's 152 for 5. Gloucestershire trailing by 50 runs, having lost Chris Dent, bowled by Adcat in the first over of the morning for a 61. One of those things really where the break came at the wrong point for him. Last night he was going so well, being so judicious, and it wasn't as though it was an injudicious moment for him, but First ball of the morning, he got a good one out for 61, and Bracey edging into the gully off Robinson for 2.
And Adcat has just gone off the field. Got a substitute fielder on.
Is that just a planned change of ends for him, or something else? He certainly didn't seem to be moving too badly as he went off.
Robinson comes into bowl, and it's short, and Van Buren covers up and plays up the pitch defensively. No run. 152 for 5. The trail by 50. Remind me, what was it overnight? 140.
Well, it would be 62.
So 140
the deficit
for 3.
At that
wasn't
point,
it?
yeah, 140 for 3. Yes.
So 12 for 2 effectively this morning. Gloucestershire, which is the sort of start Sussex would have dreamed of as Robinson comes in and bowls, and Van Buren is playing that out into the offside for no run. As you say, it's very, very similar, the weather, isn't it? I guess all 3 days where it started overcast, and then the sun eventually comes through the clouds. And yesterday afternoon it was glorious.
Yeah, well, I think it should be pretty nice in terms of temperatures. Breeze might be a bit stronger
Yeah,
today,
yes,
but
the
that might
wind,
not be
I suppose.
such a bad thing.
Yes, as Robinson comes in now and bowls, and Van Buren is just playing that again towards point, and there's no run.
Yeah, I mean, the seam felt as if it would be the threat in the first half hour plus, and then the spin comes back into things, and there is enough turnout there for Sussex's spinners that they can certainly cause some problems. I mean, that late strike of Hammond as well could prove to be really crucial last night. Denton Hammond had that partnership built very nicely.
Robinson now bowls, and a drive from Van Buren misses. Plays the shot again.
It was quite a firm,
firm push,
go
wasn't
at
it?
Yeah, that's the sort of one that would definitely have carried if he'd nicked it through to the cordon.
Mind you, of course, bowlers from both sides were not having the luck that they perhaps deserved yesterday, with some edges through the slips and through gaps that have been just created as Robinson comes in and bowls, and Van Buren drops that one short. They're going to take a quick single shot. The stumps was nowhere near, actually. So, but a direct hit, who knows? But the throw wasn't troubling the stumps at all.
Sharp one. Robinson not looking best pleased with the fact that that was a single.
No, and of course Ollie Robinson, you know, in white ball cricket and red ball cricket, you know, his economy rates are excellent, and he always puts
Unless
the ball
he's
in.
bowled into Louis Kimber.
I mean, I tell you what, I set you up for that, didn't I?
Well, no, it's just it's extraordinary. I mean, it adds to the incredible nature of the feat, the fact that it was Robinson that you did it off.
Robinson bowls, and this one is left alone by Middleton. And that's the end of the over. And do you know what, Ed? You've upset me so much, I'm going to just leave you now.
Excellent. That was my aim.
And I'm going to be replaced by Sophia Smale, and Ed will take you through.
Thanks, Andrew. So, first half hour just about done, but from a Gloucestershire point of view, not safely negotiated, with 2 wickets falling in the first 4 overs of the day. And Adcat is back on the field, so it was only a very brief exit for him. So, Adcat preparing to continue from this pavilion end. We've now got only the one shorter slip and a fielder at short cover point, I think is what I'm going to go with for that. Anyway, somebody there to stop Van Buren taking a single and maybe get a spooned catch. Full ball from Adcat is driven by Van Buren up to mid-off. There is no run. Good morning, Sophia. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, in some ways it wasn't my decision, but obviously if it were, then you know, then we'd have obviously had you back. But it's far beyond my pay grade to organise such things. But anyway, it's lovely to see you. And we've got a Nadcat running in again, round the wicket, bowling to Van Buren, who is beaten well and truly. Again coming forward, looking to drive, and goes past his outside edge as he was drawn into that shot. I guess what we're hoping for is, so the day that we were last on air, was it day 3 of that game at Cheltenham, or was it day 2? Day 3, I feel like it was, wasn't it?
3.
Yeah. So the day before, we saw that
Yeah.
outrageous finish to that game between Gloucestershire and Glamorgan. An Adcat bowls down leg side, and missing it is Van Buren. Simpson mops up behind the stumps. The day before, Glamorgan were 1 run away from executing the highest run chase in first-class history.
That was unbelievable.
Were you following the day after?
I
or-
was, yeah. I was following.
Gosh, what a finish. I can't remember. How many people were watching at the end of that one? Can you remember, James? 18,000? And Adcat bowls full and driven by Van Buren. He gets bat on it, but picks out Robinson at mid-off. So that was on the live stream, and then, who knows, there's been plenty more, I'm sure, on the BBC Sport website, because I think at that stage it was basically the only game still going, apart from the fact that there was the chance of history being made. But just extraordinary the way all that unfolded. So yeah, maybe in terms of games to cover on air,
That was a pretty good one to start.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a debut, not bad. See what happens with this one. And Adcat switches to over the wicket now, bowling to Van Buren, who is in behind that and defending the ball away towards cover. And there is no run. So have winter plans started already then, in terms of this season having been wrapped up? What does late September look like for you?
I wouldn't say any plans have been really put into place. September is, I mean, it's supposed to be have a few weeks off, but I like to think of it as fitness. So
Okay. As that said, knowing that a physio might be listening, or is that just how you are? We've got a discussion
like
about the ball, by the way, so you're not missing any cricket.
I'm always like that. I guess it's just, I feel like if people are having the month off, then you've got a chance to work harder.
Right,
really.
okay.
So yeah,
The
I've been doing a lot of
competitiveness
running,
on the field
but
extends to off the field then.
yeah,
Excellent.
and yeah, there's not much. I'm hoping to go on holiday. But yeah.
So the ball was chucked back to an Adcat, so they'll have to continue with this one, and they've got a wicket with it straight away. So if they change the ball, who knows? As Van Buren drives at it, gets an edge, and is caught behind by John Simpson, who claims his second catch of the innings. And Gloucestershire are now 6 down and still trailing by 49 runs. They've lost their captain for 4. And it was, it has to be said, a dismissal that kind of looked as if it was there, with a couple of forcing shots from Van Buren that didn't connect. That one does, but only with the outside edge.
Yeah, I'll probably be a bit disappointed. I think with the angle coming round the wicket, like he was trying to angle it in and get it to straighten, but coming over the wicket, that's just gone straight across him. I don't think that's come back whatsoever from the replay, unless I'm wrong. So yeah, I think I'll probably be a bit disappointed that he's fetched for that one, I guess. But it's good bowling, changing angles.
Yeah, he does. He does
difficult.
that so well. Does an Adcat? He's really is. I know a lot of left armers like to switch it about, but an Adcat really is equally as at home, from over and around the wicket.
My grandpa always says bowling over the wicket's better, so he's proved right there.
Right. No. I definitely think, in general, I'd certainly agree with that. I think now especially in white ball cricket, later on
Very
in
prominent now,
proceedings,
isn't it, around the
pretty
wicket?
much every left armour comes around at the death just to try and spear it in even further and not offer up any
It is
width
hard
at
with
all.
that angle across, though. I can't say I enjoy left arm.
No.
Left arm around is much.
I suppose you
nicer.
don't get to face it as much even as in the men's game. At least there are a few more probably left arm seamers than there are left-handed batters. But
Yes.
anyway, Robinson bowling to Middleton, who is forward and playing the ball out into the offside, thinking about a single. It's definitely not there. Certainly not with Foreman racing in from point. So Tom Price is the new batter, and Ed Middleton so far has survived 3 of his top order colleagues in Dent, in Bracey and in Van Buren, and so it's up to Gloucestershire's all-rounders now to try and give them something to bowl at, or at least to start with make Sussex bat again. Robinson bowls, dropping the hands on that one is Middleton as it's dug in back of a length.
Getting some lovely carry here.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's just a hard length, but it's making them play.
Yeah, and as I was saying earlier, it's not common to see this at Bristol at this stage of a match, really, on a non-hybrid
Well, yeah,
surface.
I was supposed to be doing the last match.
Oh, of course you were. You were down to day 4, weren't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh dear, fair to say it didn't quite get that far.
No.
Short leg in place, Robinson to Middleton, it's another short ball and Middleton ducks underneath it. So yes, anyway, we're doing a bit better
Yeah.
this time around at
looks
least.
like a nicer wicket this time.
I was a bit concerned when Gloucestershire were bowled out for 109 that we might not make it for your commentary stint, and as it's turned out we might have a short day today even.
Well, I have tennis at 6:30 tonight. So
Oh, okay. Right.
It's,
Whereabouts is that?
in Newport at my local.
Oh, I see.
tennis
So you've got to
club.
get back to it as well.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
it's just 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yes, it's looking a bit safe at this point. Robinson bowls is another short ball,
I
which
did
is directed
tell-
down the leg side, and Middleton doesn't offer anything at it.
I did tell my mum I might be a bit late. It's not a match. It's just training session. Yeah, and then I did think to myself, well, if they lose a few wickets early, might be an early finish.
Yes, it's looking the favourite at this point. It has to be said. 13 for 3. Excuse me. This morning, the effective score, and Robinson and Unadkat showing no signs of slowing down. Robinson into Middleton. Ooh, he's played that one just down safely enough in front of short leg. Sussex thought that Ollie Carter was going to be in business under the helmet there, but it was in the end sort of, well, it was maybe a little bit better than fended off, but
Yeah.
he looked a little discomforted by it. So I guess for the Smale family, there's a pretty big day coming up in a few days' time with the
Yeah.
one-day cup final
Yes, there is. Yeah.
as well. Robinson in now, bowls to Middleton, who jabs that one down into the ground, into the gully. He was outside his crease for a moment, and Haynes fires down the stumps from gully.
Well,
Middleton
be
was
careful
back, though.
nowadays with those throws.
Yes, did you happen to see social media last night, the incident in the game between Somerset and Lancashire?
No, I didn't.
No, I'm going
but,
to have to show that one
there's-
to you.
They're really harsh on it now, isn't there? If you hit the batter or anything.
Oh, that one, yes. But this was
What
a
was-
situation like that where it was George Balderson for
Right.
Lancashire came charging down the pitch, I think yorked himself, and then
Oh, I did
it went
see
off,
that.
yeah, it went off something pad maybe to first slip.
And they appealed.
And then they were up for the appeal. Balderson was out of his crease. Craig Overton guns down the stumps, and Balderson appears to be a long way out of his crease. And the decision was not out from the square leg umpire, presumably because he was looking in the wrong direction. And Adcat bowling the first ball that Tom Price faces this innings, and it's steadily defended into the covers. So yes, there was the usual, I think, cries of conspiracy against Somerset, also as a a perfectly legitimate 5 penalty runs were awarded for fake fielding, which is exactly what it was according to the letter of the law, and a no ball was bowled by Archie Vaughan as he somehow, I think he had something get into his eye or something as he was bowling, or at least that's what he motioned. But it was one of those where he went to bowl and basically just threw it into the ground. Yeah. And Adcat bowls full, and Tom Price looks to on drive, and it's fielded at mid-on for no run.
No, it is a good job he did hit the stumps there, because he was not far away, was he? He wouldn't want to be in the way of that throw.
No, well, I think it's particularly with the bowlers, isn't it? And you see the red mist come down and fire the ball in towards the batter, and if they're not out of their ground, then you're looking at, was it a level 2?
Yeah, level 2, I think.
And Adcat over the wicket bowls to Tom Price, who is forward and just quietly defending out into the offside.
I wouldn't know, I've never been in the bad books.
No, well, you're a spinner, you're not allowed to get angry as a spinner. Sorry, no, shouldn't laugh.
No, I've never been called into the office, thank God, so I wouldn't know about level 2s or anything like that. But obviously Marizanne Cap had one for oval.
Okay.
She threw it at Susie Bates. I don't know if you saw that one.
When was that? That must have been...
That was the first
I was going to say,
of the 100.
Because Susie Bates playing against Marizanne Cap,
She was seething, to say the least, as you can imagine.
That'd been great. There are a few better angry faces in the global game than Marizanne Cap's. Round the wicket goes, and Adcat, and Tom Price has got a ball which lifts outside the off stump, and I think in fairness to him, he has mostly played inside the line there. He motioned to play at it, but I think it was almost one of those where the ball was so good that he couldn't play at it.
Yeah, he's just trying to get one to straighten here, isn't he? Try and get that edge in, but no, I think she came down the wicket and then she threw it at Susie Bates. I don't think it hurt her. I think it hit her pad, but yeah. There was a disciplinary after it.
Yes.
She was not happy. Complaining.
Pretty much call it automatically now.
Yes.
Any point if they're not out of their crease doesn't even have to be dangerous now, it seems.
She just thought it was just a bit willy-nilly nowadays, isn't it? Rules are rules.
Indeed. And Adcat bowls to Tom Price, who drives and won't beat mid-off. Timed that one rather better, but couldn't get it past the fielder. Yeah, well, there's all sorts of ways you can get yourself in trouble now, but
yes,
yes. Anyway, I have to say, I did feel a bit for Steve O'Shaughnessy actually yesterday after that decision, because after that, as always happens, you end up with those sorts of contentious decisions to have to make around it as well. Yeah. Calling no balls and that sort of thing.
You have to face the abuse online, normally.
Adcat over the wicket bowls to Price, who drives. It was in the air, but he's picked the gap between extra cover and mid-off, and it should just make it to the boundary. Yes, it will. Robinson, I think, again,
not getting down.
Didn't particularly fancy a headlong dive either. They've picked their fielders to tease of Gloucestershire. That's about the one thing that has gone okay this morning. 157 for 6. Tom Price off the mark, though, in pleasing fashion. And that brings the deficit down to 45. Tom Price getting a good piece of that drive. One of the players who've had no rest in terms of playing from Saturday, having played a big part in that day as a whole. 4 overs in the final for Tom Price, and the key wicket of Tom Abel as well. Obviously didn't have to bat, because most of Gloucestershire's batters didn't have to bat. Even Jack Taylor at 5 didn't have to bat. Extraordinary stuff. But anyway, he's out there again with a job to do here, a rather different job. Now we've got... This is the field that Robinson had in the last Ashes, I think for Scott Boland. So that shows you what Sussex feel about Ed Middleton's batting ability. He bowls a short ball which Middleton ducks underneath.
My brother went to school with Mido, and he's no mug with the bat. So
No,
it's a bit
he's
harsh.
definitely not. But yeah, they're giving him the Scott Boland treatment with the
I wouldn't want to
two
field
close
there.
catches, a silly mid-off and a
It's
short
just-
leg, probably,
Yeah.
going to go with.
Well, you know it's going to be back of a length, don't you? I mean, for the fielder's sake, you don't want to pitch it up.
Robinson runs in, bowls. It is back of a length, but it's steered away towards
fielding.
backward point. Yeah, an excellent piece of fielding from Bertie Foreman, who is a live wire. Gets down to his left and saves what would have been a second run. And Middleton moves on to 9, 158 for 6. Might not quite, no. They've still kept the short leg, but James Coles is having to switch between the helmet and the sun hat. As he moves off to cover. They're not quite going to give Tom Price the same, at least consistent barrage of short stuff. They're certainly licensed to bowl short with that short leg, and then a fielder out at deep square leg as well. And they know Tom Price is somebody who can take on the short ball. Robinson bowls to him, it's on a good length though. Full of a good length really, and Tom Price is just about onto the front foot and playing it defensively out into the covers, and then goes off for a bit of a wander. Let's see whether there's anything.
No, Durham are making a recovery, 30 for 4. They were, what were they? Three for?
They were 2 for 3, yes. Although in some ways it's not a recovery because it's the two night watchmen
Well,
they've lost, and now they've lost Alex Lees as that fourth wicket. Lees bowled Jordan Clark for 4. Robinson bowls to Price, who drives, doesn't get a great deal of bat on it, and then
That's the throw.
Robinson has faked the throw through to Simpson, who actually he did me, because I thought I'd just not picked the ball up, because Simpson moved across to his right as though he'd just taken the ball, but actually Robinson hadn't let go of it. Anyway, Emilio Gay, who got a duck on his Durham debut, is 23 not out, so he's doing a little better this time around. And David Beddingham at the crease. They've still got some dangerous customers, Durham.
Beddingham, very good player.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Robinson in. Oh, goodness me. He's just absolutely caught Tom Price
Is that
midships, at least in terms of length. I think he might have got some bat on it, but he'd no idea where that was going. That really was fended off. He just didn't pick it up.
No, I don't think he did. I think he picked this one up quite late.
See, I mean, he's completely taken his eye off it. Maybe on the hand or the top part of the bat. Anyway, he's fortunate that hasn't A, injured him, and B, caused his dismissal. Robinson to Tom Price. He tries a wide Yorker. Oh, it's almost brilliantly caught at extra cover. It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
It was a no ball.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a no ball.
No.
That was Neil Bainton somehow signalling the end of the over with his arm outstretched. That did me.
I thought it was
Just
a
do
no
that
ball.
again. He had his arm right out to his side there, Neil Bainton, so I assumed that he'd no-balled him anyway. It was
He went
nearly
for
a
the
fantastic
tempter
piece of
outside
bowling.
off.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a slower ball, very wide outside the off stump. Tom Price's eyes lit up after having been struck the previous ball and then almost stroked it to extra cover. James Coles got one hand on it, but all he could do was knock it down. No run to end the over. He's such a clever bowler like that, Robinson.
yeah, he is. I used to love watching him bowl for England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about what he did on the last Pakistan tour, for example, and he's not going to get the chance to go out there and do that again.
Fortunately,
Feels a
not.
bit harsh.
Yeah.
An Adcat bowling to Middleton, who leaves that alone. And instead, looking at the Durham score, of course, they've been without Matthew Potts and Bryden Carson
Yeah.
this game. Although Surrey, of course, have been without Ollie Pope.
But sorry,
as
I've
well.
got the Currans back, and
They
there was
do.
Sam as well this time.
Yep. So the title could be decided today in both divisions.
Somerset haven't
Or
got
at
a
least
wicket this morning yet.
In terms of not quite, okay, so not quite in terms of Division 2, right. The calculations haven't quite accounted for that yet. An Adcat bowling to Middleton, who tries to clip into the leg side, but I was trying to work against the angle and misses the ball as it cannons into his pad. Anyway, the Division 1 title could certainly be decided, because Lancashire are still batting with their 7th wicket partnership. Luke Wells is 90 not out, and George Balderson is still there on 13. Lancashire leading Somerset already by 312 with that partnership still there. Tom Bailey is still to come at 10, who is no mug with the bat by any means. So could be a decisive move made today. Anadkat running in bowls. It's a drive from Middleton. He's thinking about a single, but Tom Price has basically turned his back on him because he's realised that that would be a very short throw for Ollie Robinson at mid-off. So still no bowling changes this morning. Sussex again are doing what they did in the first innings really, and thinking just, right, okay, let's push Robinson and Anadkat now. Push them now, and then the job later on becomes that much easier.
Gloucestershire are struggling.
Right.
88 for 6.
Oh dear. Round the wicket goes Anadkat bowls, and Middleton drive, square drive, but can't beat backward point. Kent are also
Kent
struggling.
That's struggling season, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean they looked as though they were really recovering. Nottinghamshire decided to enforce the follow-on, which I must admit I was a bit surprised by. But Kent 133 for 5
they were
now.
1 down this morning as well.
They've lost 4 wickets for 18 runs, as Jacob Duffy, who did play for Kent, actually played in a game that Gloucestershire were involved in a couple of years back at Canterbury. And Anadkat bowls, and fishing for that one is Middleton and missing the ball. But sort of good news, bad news for Lancashire, who might have hoped that Kent would hold on and that Lancashire could force the victory and they'd have a shot going into the final round, whereas now probably looks as though Lancashire are still going to be favourites for relegation, even if they do beat Somerset. Might bring a few more people into play, with Warwickshire having subsided yesterday to Essex.
Yeah.
But I think probably, most likely, Warwickshire are safe in 7th. It is going to be between Nottinghamshire and Lancashire, and the problem Lancashire have got also is, even if they do win that game, they didn't pick up any batting points, whereas Nottinghamshire picked up
quite a few,
4 batting points. So even if they were to win, there'd only be a 4-point gain. As forward goes Middleton and defends. That completes a maiden over from J.W. Anadkat with the score 158 for 6. 44 runs still behind our Gloucestershire. Ed Seaborn and Sophia Smale, the commentary team, on the BBC Sport website and the app, and on the Gloucestershire live stream. So 11 points was the gap between Notts and Lancashire. Lancashire second bottom in Division 2. So even were Notts to draw and Lancashire were to win, I think if I've done the maths right, Lancashire would only gain 4 points, which feels like a bit of a tough go. And also, it would mean that Lancashire had won 3 games and both sides above them had only won 1. And this is the argument about 8 for the draw versus 5, because it really does reward a draw, but at the same time it's there to try and stop the 220 plays 220 plays 170 type games that the England management don't really want to see.
No.
Here's Ollie Robinson into Tom Price, who plays a beautiful on drive, and that will have plenty of pace on it to go to the boundary. So 2 scoring shots and 2 boundaries. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. That's the England way to do it as well.
This is true. Yep. 162 for 6. Yeah, I mean, that was very nicely played. It wasn't a terrible delivery by any means from Robinson, not right up there on the half volley, but just steered it away, and there is no fielder at mid-on. Robinson bowls a short ball, which Tom Price ducks. It's probably more like the kind of delivery Robinson's after with this field as well.
See, that's a good thing about being a seamer. You get hit for 4 and you can just bang in a short ball.
Have you ever
I've
tried
not.
the bumper?
I know Hayley Matthews has one in her locker.
Mm.
I know one of the girls at Oval were trying to bowl a bouncer, and it was not going well.
Right,
it
went
like
a bit like that.
Tracker.
Okay, it went a bit like that Archie Vaughan delivery yesterday
And,
that was very correctly called a no ball.
I've just never tried one, but I think that is something I would love to do as a seam
I was
bowler.
going to say, I mean, if I don't take this the wrong way, but I thought if anyone would have tried it, you might have done. Round the wicket goes Robinson, and over pitches. It's driven straight back to him this time, though, by Tom Price. So the score will remain 162 for 6. But yeah, I don't know. I can see you picking up that wicket with the bouncer and
Well,
just.
I used to
giving it
really
the-
want to be
giving
a
it the big
seamer
one.
when I was little, so this was probably
Right.
the inner seamer in me.
No, it's good. I mean, like aggressive spin bowlers, it's how it should be. 2 slips, gully, leg slip, short leg, short extra cover, a short ball from Robinson from round the wicket, which is a pretty harmless one, and Tom Price gets underneath that one. And I think he was caught with that back of a length delivery from Robinson, but with this field, you're probably more expecting that short delivery, so I mean, we'll see. Maybe the similar thing will happen here, but it's just so set for short pitch bowling.
Yeah.
But then you've got to watch that Robinson Yorker, because he does have, for somebody who's been more of a red ball bowler over the years, he does have a fantastic Yorker. He bowls a back of a length ball down the leg side just about. Tom Price has played that pretty well, actually, because in just trying to have a go at that one, all you're probably doing is bringing Tom Clark at leg slip in play.
Exactly, it just wasn't quite straight enough to catch any part of Tom. Don't know what it would have hit. Might not have hit that.
Yeah.
Might have hit hip, rib.
He did a good job of getting his hands out of the way and then scurrying across to his offside and getting out the way. Last ball of this over, Robinson into Price across his stumps to try and negate this line of attack from Robinson, and then just bobs underneath it. So that completes that Robinson over. And this morning Robinson has bowled 6, so we'll see how many more he's able to go through. He's pointed off towards that end, which don't know if I would have taken that to mean I'm having another, but anyway, he's strolling.
Well, we've got a change at this end.
Yes, he
Is
actually
that
was strolling
Carson?
towards the pavilion. Yes, it is. So Jack Carson, who took 2 wickets yesterday, and whilst the strikes this morning have been very important, perhaps the most important wicket was that wicket of Hammond yesterday evening, when he was going well. He'd built his innings up. He was on 41 and Chris Dent alongside him, but Hammond out just a few overs from the end, driving at a wide ball and got a touch through to John Simpson. So for Carson,
I'm not sure who that is down there doing stretches. Is that Krocombe?
could be, yeah, if they're looking to continue to bowl short with seam, then Krocombe would be the choice.
He's quite far away, so I've got no idea.
Who was it?
Was
it
that
on the
Fine
45?
Leg,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I think that is Krocombe. Yeah. So he might be looking to continue the short pitch stuff from that Ashley Down Road end. It's Carson with his off breaks though from the pavilion end, and he's bowling to Ed Middleton. There's some turn there. It's clipped away through square leg and not past Henry Krocombe, who fields from that position. So Carson needs 3 more wickets for 50 on the season. Mentioned there was that carrot for him. If he could take the 5 for, he'd also bring up his 50th wicket. Again, there's some turn, but Middleton goes back to block it. Unfortunately for him, though, the seamers have done a good enough job that he's not got many wickets left to play with. He's going to have to take
Most
3 of
of
the
the
last
damage.
4.
Yeah. Clean up the tail.
Yeah,
Well,
he
to be fair.
should have an extended bowl here at any rate, as Middleton plays late in defence.
One of the tail is already in, really, isn't it? With the night watch.
Yeah, I mean they would consider they bat pretty deep, Gloucestershire, but at the same time they are, they're 6 down, and they're certainly getting into the bowling all-rounders at this stage. Still 40 behind. Carson to Middleton, who shimmies down the pitch and then works the ball to backward square. He almost did him there, did Jack Carson. He's already tempted one Gloucestershire batter down the pitch. That was Ollie Price. A fantastic catch by Haynes at slip. One-handed to his left. Carson bowls. Oh, this turn, and that was very nearly a chance as Middleton tried to work it to leg but clipped it into his pad, and then it just goes wide of the short leg fielder.
Oh, that's really well bowled. That's pitched quite far outside off, jagged back along, bounced.
When I think of Jack Carson, as he bowls now, and this time it is worked with a roll of the wrists to safety to mid-wicket, and a maiden over to start with from Carson, 162 for 6. When I've seen him bowl before, and admittedly it's mostly just been when it's against Gloucestershire, but he seems like the kind of bowler that gets those bat pads better than a lot.
Yeah.
He's got that height, he knows, especially to the right-hander, he's going to be turning the ball into them, and he just gets that little bit of bounce that brings him into play.
Yeah, definitely. I think that ball there, like Middo, is quite tall. It's a tall bloke, and he's got it to bounce really nicely there. I think you'd be pretty happy as a bowler if you're bowling that.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing that led Gloucestershire to think, well, if they could just scramble a lead of about 150, 160, get Zafar Gohar going, they might still have a chance, but that is going to take something extraordinary from this position.
Yeah.
I think even a lead of 3 figures would be something quite tasty from Gloucestershire's point of view from here.
Working out when to go as well. You can't sit around and let them bowl at you all day.
Exactly, and Tom Price, he might, if he is still there especially, might decide to go into attack mode. Whilst Zafar Gohar is still there to come, I suspect they won't think along those lines, because Zafar is coming off, well, an 86 and a 19 not out at Lords. But it is, as you forecast, Henry Krocombe to bowl from the
shot.
Ashley Down Road end, and that is probably, of the 3 boundaries that Tom Price has now hit, that's probably up there. I was going to say it's the best, but then he did play that on drive. That was, you always like an on drive, don't you?
I love an on drive.
Everybody likes an on drive,
Especially
but he's played that on the up, that one.
I've just had a message from Wello. Give me a shout on comms, so Amanda Jade Wellington is listening in.
Very nice.
Back home now.
Yes, well, did she manage to get all her trophies back, is what I want to know.
I don't know. If you're listening, please let us know. I'm sure she did.
166 for 6. Krocombe in short ball. He's taken it on as Tom Price, and he's missed it. Did reckon that.
It was there.
Yeah, I reckoned he would take it on in this situation, but he was just unable to make contact with it. Yeah, well, there was that question, wasn't there, at the Western Storm final dinner? How many tattoos has Amanda Jade Wellington got? I think everyone went under
I can't
the
even
eventual
remember
number.
what the answer
No.
was. I don't think I was. I wasn't in the game by then.
No.
I'd long gone.
Krocombe bowls, and forward defending is Tom Price, and there's no run. Yeah, there was one question
she
that
got them back.
Yeah, there was one question that got rid of about 3/4 of the room, and I can't remember what it was. It was one of those kind of who's scored the most runs against somebody or something like that. Anyway, and I think most people
I dropped out on the Rachel Priest Heather Knight one. I can't remember what it was. Who scored the first 50 for Storm?
That's it.
And I just thought it might be Priesty.
Yeah. Well, I thought I went on that too. That's right. Krocombe bowls full ball, which is worked into the onside. Krocombe gets across and will field. I got it wrong because I thought if they've set that question, they're going to want it to be something that gets rid of a lot of people.
It won't be
so
Heather.
yeah, exactly. I thought Heather Knight's the obvious answer in a way,
Yeah, and you know, Priestley opening the batting, she's destructive.
And she was going to be there that evening as well, which I suspect Spencer, who set the questions, would have known. Krocombe in, inside edge from Tom Price. He's wafting away in
Luckily,
annoyance.
Not
but he's,
that near the stumps.
Yes, he's going to be happy to look behind him and see that he's safe as it goes down to fine leg, and they pick up a single.
Went very square.
Yeah, it's funny how many inside edges miss the stumps now. It's almost as though, as long as you drive hard enough at it, you're nearly always safe. I don't know why that is, but so rarely they seem to hit the stumps. 167 for 6. The deficit 35. Krocombe runs in and bowls wide of off stump.
I thought he was going to try and cut that.
Yeah, me too.
It bounced up nicely.
You probably couldn't have been blamed for cutting it, but just
I
decided
think
to
I
have a
would
look.
have been tempted.
Well, I've been dialed in, so I've been dialed in.
Yeah, Krocombe. I guess that was the first ball that Middleton faced of him. Maybe he also didn't particularly
Want to
fancy
face
another
Carson
go at it. No, I'm sure it's not.
I think it is that of when are they going to say Carson's not going to we're not going to let Carson bowl at us? I think it's always difficult when you let bowlers bowl at you, especially spinners, and especially when it's turning.
Yeah.
You know, if you're being a bit defensive, that short leg is in play. I guess it's maybe patience. Maybe he didn't want to come down the other end because he might run past one.
Tom Price to face then. Carson bowls, and it's back of a length, and he'll get on strike straight away because they put a deep backward square out as well as a deep mid wicket. It was almost as though they decided they wanted to bowl at Middleton as well. Tom Price to 14. Gloucestershire to 168 for 6.
There's nothing better than as a spinner when people are just sort of blocking you out and just it's lovely.
Because that's
not got someone coming after you. And although I like it in T20 cricket, as Carson's in.
Carson bowls and Middleton does come down the pitch and slams this one over wide mid on and for 4. Couple of bounces and Middleton does decide to open his shoulders, and he's got rather broad ones and he put them into it.
But yeah, it is nice, especially in T20 cricket, when you've got batters coming at you, because you know that there's going to be a chance of a wicket, but there's nothing being just settled into a spot constantly and people don't put you off it. You know, as a bowler now, you've got to change something. After someone's run at you, you can't let them keep doing it.
Carson to Middleton, and this is worked away through square leg, and that will be a single, 173 for 6. Yeah, because it's one of the things that people like us say about a spinner who's just been whacked for 6, and it's they won't mind that, won't mind seeing them come at them. But you know, my dreadful experience as a spinner was, please don't do that again.
Well, Grandpa always says to me, if you get hit back over your head, it's a good shot, and I agree, but it's almost like, oh God.
Well, there comes a point when you stop thinking about giving credit to the batter in that situation. Carson bowls has some turn, but it starts too wide, and Tom Price leaves alone. But yeah, I don't know. Exactly what you say. You want to be able to settle into your spot, and you're the one varying it because you want to, not because the batter's forced you to. He's done well to clear mid-on as Middleton with that big hit, as dropping it short this time is Carson, and that's pulled away in muscular fashion by Tom Price for 4 through mid-wicket this time. He got the drag down.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing, you know, I know it's Tom Price on strike now, not Middo, but by coming down the wicket, it plays with your head as a bowler, and you think, oh, I might just have to change my length and just bowl a little bit shorter, and then he's overcompensated. Little things make a huge difference.
Carson bowls to Tom Price, who's forward running the ball into the gap in the offside. He'll take a single, so he'll keep the strike at the end of that over, and an excellent over that was for Gloucestershire, with 11 runs coming from it. 178 for 6. Some more thoughts from you, Sophia, and then we'll get Andrew Rayburn back.
Yeah, so Gloucestershire trail by 24 still, and I think we'll see Krocombe bowling again. Tom Price on strike. He's going at a good lick here, 19 off 25 balls. And a very, very good over from the other end for Gloucestershire. Carson went for, what's that, 11? I think it's 11.
Yeah, so it's been all happening while I've not been not been on comms. How are you, Sophia?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So we're going to see Krocombe coming into bowl, and it's beaten him.
A good nut.
Beaten Price. Good nut, says Sophia. Absolutely right. Taken by Simpson. But, Gloucestershire steadying the ship somewhat in this partnership for the moment. So you see that replay. Over the top of off stump, but beaten.
I definitely think they're going to look to attack the spin. I think with it coming in as well, isn't it? You know, it's not much of a risk running down the wicket, I suppose.
Krocombe comes in and bowls, and this time Price plays that out backward a square. Comfortable for a single, moves him on to 20. Reminder that Middleton is at the other end on 14. Gloucestershire to 179 for 6, trailing by 23, so they are getting ever closer to making Sussex bat for it, which is what they'll want to do.
Yeah, after that over just gone, it still looked like quite a lot, but after 11 off and over, it seems to have, the trail seems to have gone down quite nicely.
Krocombe comes in and bowls, and that one who's up by the throat of Middleton. Krocombe is, yeah,
that's a good short ball there.
Really good short ball. Just watching it on the replay in front of us. Oh, and I tell you what,
He's done very, very well there.
He's got his neck out the way. His bat was still loitering though. He could have easily have taken the.
Luckily, he dropped his hands at the right time.
Yeah, he could have easily have caught a glove if he'd just been in a slightly different position. As Krocombe comes in and bowls, and this time Middleton just plays that securely out to point where it's collected, and there's no run.
Somerset still have not got a wicket at Lancashire. They're leading by 331 now.
Yeah, that's going to look...
Luke Wells is 105 not out, and Balderson 17 not out.
And that is setting Surrey up nicely for their...
Oh, and Beddingham's out, one to add, so...
As Krocombe comes in and bowls, and Middleton is in behind that one out into the onside. Yeah, so it's certainly going all Surrey's way at the moment.
Yeah, Sam Curran's got Beddingham now, caught behind.
It's one of those match days, isn't it, where, I mean, obviously there's a lot to play for here with Sussex hunting promotion, but we are almost as much invested and distracted by the scores that are going on elsewhere, because there's lots of big silverware to play for, and Krocombe playing to Middleton, who played it slightly uppish and towards mid-on, but luckily didn't find him. So at the end of that over, just the one from it, and Gloucestershire 179 for 6. We had 16 overs in the day, an hour and 12 minutes played.
Sussex 2s are playing at Glamorgan. Looks like a loss for you, sorry.
Well, I'm sure that
Glamorgan need 26 off 79 overs, so they're 74 for 2, but I think it's probably a tall ask.
I mean, thank you for breaking it to me so gently. We'll have Carson bowling spin now, and it's played up to Ollie Robinson, who's very deep at mid-on. He's virtually halfway between mid-on and long-on.
Who made no effort to attack the
No.
ball.
No, he waited for it to come to him, put it that way. And he's now taking 2 or 3 strides up to a more sort of orthodox mid-on position, as Carson now bowls to Middleton. It was Price that took that single previously, by the way, for those keeping up with their own scorecards. Price 21 from 28, Middleton 14 from 57 now, as he takes a dot from that particular one from Carson. Carson, who took a couple of wickets yesterday, in the evening session to really perk Sussex up going into this morning. He's dropped a short one in, which has hit the pads. It's going to be going over the top and down the leg side, I fancy. A big swing from
ball.
Middleton. Yeah, it was. He dropped it short.
Looked like a rank long hop from here.
It was going down leg side,
Yeah,
certainly.
it's going down.
It may not.
It was a hit me ball.
It
for
was.
Middleton. He's missed an opportunity for a 4.
Sometimes, though, the worst balls are harder to hit.
Yeah,
and that one keeps a little bit lower, actually, as it scoots through, but it's been played nicely by Middleton out towards mid-wicket for a single.
I do agree, but I feel like when I bowl a full toss or a drag down, it goes for 4 or 6. And in women's cricket, the low full toss, it's like 30% of wickets come from a low full toss. I don't think any of mine have been wickets. That is a Hartley stat. I think it is correct.
Carson comes in and bowls this time. It's well outside off stump and left alone by Price. Has no interest in that whatsoever. Once again for Price, Robinson has dropped back a good few yards at mid-on, presuming that Price may attack Carson downtown. As Carson comes in to bowl, and this one keeps a little low again, and it forces Price onto the back foot to play from his crease. There's no run, so a much cheaper over for Jack Carson on that occasion, just 2 from it. He's bowled 2 for 51 from his 17 overs, so he's going at 3s despite the 11 from the previous over. And Gloucestershire 181 for 6, they trail by 21.
Yeah, there is nothing worse when you're going at a good economy rate and then you let slip an over of upwards of 8, I would say, in this cricket especially, but there's nothing worse as a bowler when you've got a good economy rate and you have a rubbish over and goes for about 12 runs. You think, I've just thrown that all away. Looks good on the score sheet, doesn't it?
You like a good economy rate?
Yeah, I like maidens as well.
Well, yeah. Sometimes, as the England men's test team are trying to wean bowlers off maidens. And that one's edged through the gap between second slip and gully. That would be for a flashing drive from Middleton. Caught the edge from Krocombe, and that's gone down to the third man boundary for 4 runs.
I don't think this carried.
Let's see, there's a big gap between second slip and gully.
I don't know. But it's gone straight in the gap.
And that was happening a lot yesterday, and I know it happens in cricket in all formats, but sometimes the ball must be very frustrating as a captain, because you can set a field that you think looks great and then the ball will always find a gap, even when the shot is not controlled. So we're going to see Krocombe again up to the wicket now, and he bowls, and then a cut shot. That's a much more controlled shot by Middleton, who gets the applause it deserves, because it goes down to the boundary for 4 runs. Backward a square on the offside, nicely timed. That's a very attractive shot. Short, wide, got what it deserved from Krocombe, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you've still got to put those away.
No, he had one. Well, he had one last over, and I said to Ed, I'm surprised he hasn't hit that one, and he's hit this one. He's scratched it for 4.
Yeah, slightly off the bottom of the bat, but certainly had enough timing on it to get it away to the boundary.
They're only trailing by 13 now. It's
that innings defeat that Ed feared after the 3rd wicket went down this morning is now starting to subside.
Yeah.
As Krocombe, back-to-back boundaries for Middleton, comes in and bowls, and this time an indeterminate prod, and that beats that through to Simpson. Better ball from Krocombe, slightly shorter.
Much better line, isn't it? I think if you're bowling that length, it's your line that's key. You can't be bowling that length and it being a few stumps outside, off stump, can you?
Especially to this field as well.
Yeah.
Always bowl to your field. As Krocombe up to the wicket now, and he bowls and covers up Middleton correctly in defence up to mid-off, where it's collected by Carson, who will give the ball a bit of a shine before passing it on to his fast bowling colleague.
No, you would like to think that they'll make Sussex bat again here, like 13, trail by 13, but they've still got 4 wickets left, so they've recovered well, these two.
2 slips and a gully line weight as Krocombe comes in and bowls, and driven firmly by Middleton, but only to Carson at mid-off, who will throw the ball into John Simpson and then passes it on to Tom Haynes at gully. Allsop and Clark at first and second slip. Tom Haynes took a blinder of a catch yesterday off Carson's bowling, a real instinctive grab, and then went off on a mad celebration. All the highlights, of course, available out there on YouTube, and that one is edged and caught behind. Krocombe has a wicket. Sussex have their 4th of the morning. Middleton goes for 23. And similar to a ball a couple of balls ago which beat the outside edge, this time it's taken it. John Simpson, the captain, takes the catch, and Sussex gather in celebration. Krocombe bowling to Middleton. He had to play at it, and it just edged through to Simpson, who took a good catch diving to his right. Sussex have their 4th of the morning. Gloucestershire 7 down.
Yeah, look, that ball looked like it angled in a little bit, which made Middleton play that shot. It forced him into the shot, and as I said, it's just taken the outside edge, it's just straightened on him. But I mean, it's been a good innings from him.
It has, yeah, from the obviously from a man who's capable of batting well, but a night watchman. Sussex have seen off 4 now this morning. We're at 10 to 12, so we're 40 minutes away from lunch. The umpire's obviously convening whilst we await the next man in, but it was a real trudge back to the pavilion.
Yeah,
from
I think
Middleton.
he'll probably be a bit disappointed. Like, what, 23 off, I think, what did he face? About 65 balls? You'd think you're starting to see it better. You feel like you've got the pace of the wicket and things like that, so he'll probably be disappointed that he didn't kick on to more than that. He had a start in 23 and didn't quite kick on, but
so Zafar Gohar comes out to the crease, excellent with the ball, 6 wickets in Sussex's first innings.
and he's looking cold. Snitted up.
Yes, got the sweater on. I mean,
I
he's a long way from home, but
don't think I could play in a big thick sweater like that.
well, don't knock it till you've tried.
I'd like to think that I'd stay in and then I'd get too hot.
Well, yeah, that's
And then
true.
I'd
I
have to
suppose take it off.
And I'm a bit superstitious in taking things off when I'm batting. I don't like when I have to take my helmet off for drinks and stuff.
Do you not?
No.
No, I know some,
No.
and it can feel. I mean,
Try
this.
and keep my helmet on at all points and my inners. I know a lot of people change their inners, but if I'm in, I'm in. I'm leaving my inners on.
Bertie Foreman on to bowl from the pavilion end now, and there's a little bit of turn for him. Foreman replacing Carson at the Bristol pavilion end. So that was the last ball of that over from Krocombe that picked up the wicket. So Foreman is bowling to Price. Price defended and is facing up to this one. This is fuller and wider, and Price is driving. It won't be 4. It'll be cut off. It'll be a single.
Allsop.
Yep, that's Tom Allsop out on that boundary.
I don't know what that is.
There is
Window.
divider.
What is that? Divider. Completely blocked my view of seeing Allsop out there.
Apparently, Ed Seaborn, who is a window expert, has called it a mullion. A mullion.
Window divider was quite clever.
Mullion seems far too clever. Foreman is coming round the wicket to the left-handed Zafar, although he's aborted his run. And it is a run because it's sort of he half runs and then delivers a sort of a more orthodox spinner's action. That's down the leg side. It's been played away by Zafar through square leg for a single. I've just have to alter my mic there because I had to take my headphones off to understand what Ed was, the glazier over there, was talking about.
He has got a very prominent run in, hasn't he, Foreman?
He has, yeah. He runs, then stops, then walks, and then runs again as Foreman comes in now and bowls. And that's just defended by Price. Bowled nicely without real reward, actually, Bertie Foreman, and he's highly rated by the Sussex camp. I spoke to Jack Carson. I wanted to ask him a question about Foreman, but he and I did in the end, but he also brought him up without prompting, because he understood, his first-class debut, and he understood how well he bowled. And he's a very popular character. Foreman comes in and bowls now, and that forces Price onto the back foot into his crease, defends up the pitch. A useful cricketer in many regards. Decent with the bat in second 11 cricket. He's made a lot of runs recently, and he's very handy with the ball as well. He's going to go round the wicket to the right-hander now, just mixing things up. Foreman comes in and bowls, and it's gone caught by Simpson, fielded by Simpson behind the stumps, and no run. 2 from the over. He's bowled 10 overs for 32. That's what I was looking up just then. And 191 for 7, Gloucestershire. We've had 19 overs bowled so far in this morning session. Trail by 11. So they are ticking it off. Well, there's some discussions between several Sussex players. Yeah, Robinson, the wicket-keeper. Krocombe. Of course, when you have a wicket-keeper as captain, they've got to do a lot of mileage.
Yeah, but they do see everything, don't they?
That is very true.
Yeah, I always think wicket-keepers are actually really good captains, because they see every angle of the pitch. And in terms of fielding angles, it's so important to get people in the right spot. But as you say, you do have to run back and forth a lot, which would drive me insane.
As Krocombe comes in round the wicket, bowls, and it just, I don't know what that come off bat or thigh pad or something, but it looped up towards where a sort of short leg might have been, but there isn't one in at the moment. Zafar facing Krocombe, still in his jumper. Does beg the question of what happens if he does get too hot.
He's just going to have to call for the 12th man to come on, isn't it?
Maybe he knows he's not going to sweat too much under there. Krocombe round the wicket, bowls. Zafar, he's bowled him! A Yorker which has knocked a stump out of the ground, at least one. And Sussex have removed Zafar. He can remove his jumper. And Sussex now have 5 this morning, and they have 8 in total. Gloucestershire still trail by 11, but the dream of promotion back to the top flight after 9 years away is edging ever closer for Paul Farbrace and John Simpson's side. Big celebrations in the slips when that one removed. Oh, that's a beautiful Yorker. The length on that, right up in the block hole, stump out of the ground. And as a quick bowler, you couldn't ask for anything more.
No, you couldn't, and he didn't get too hot, did he?
He didn't get too hot. He didn't get too hot.
I spoke 2 overs ago saying I think they will make Sussex bat, but
yeah, ever since you said that, it's all turned. It's the commentator's curse, the famous commentator's curse. Sophia Smale and Andrew Rabin with you on the BBC Sport website and app. BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Sussex. And Sussex are on top. Henry Krocombe picking up a couple of wickets.
There's another wicket at the Oval again. Sam Curran. It's got Robinson.
So now
left a straight one. Oh.
So now we're on a bit of a race, I suppose, to see who can celebrate first, I suppose. But Surrey are going to have to see what Somerset do.
Somerset still have not got a wicket this morning.
Not?
They lead by 345 now, Lancashire.
But so a reminder then that as far as the Division 1 title is concerned, if Surrey win, and of course they are on top against Durham, then they're looking at Somerset against Lancashire. If Somerset lose, Surrey will take the title. And then it's a bowled him again. Krocombe has got him first ball, Akhtar. We haven't even mentioned him, but Henry Krocombe has bowled another beautiful Yorker. A stump out of the ground again. Actor goes first ball, and Henry Krocombe is cleaning up the tail.
There is nothing better than cleaning up the tail, and it's just gone straight through him. Quite full.
Yeah, not as full as the previous one, was it? But still, I mean, where did that pitch? It's pitched there. The previous one. Sorry, it's not very good at radio, but the previous one was right up by the crease, wasn't it? And this one is slightly.
Didn't really move his feet.
Well, this is the trouble when you've got you new into the crease.
Caught on the crease.
I mean, we saw it with Dent in the first over. I mean, and he batted beautifully yesterday, and of course, just you're cold.
Crease,
you just
your feet aren't moving.
Yeah, and you just hope to see your first few balls get into the rhythm, and if you get a good one, sometimes. But then equally, bowlers aren't always in their rhythm early on either. So
it always takes a few overs, doesn't it?
Exactly. So it's whoever manages to get their game together. So
Krocombe on a hat-trick now.
Krocombe on a hat-trick. Can he get a hat-trick to...
For 5 slips in now.
Earn Sussex promotion. There may even be more yet.
Where's Robinson going? Leg slip?
Robinson's going to go to leg slips. We've got Alsop, Clark, Haynes in there, Carter's in there in the cordon. So there's... I mean, I don't know where the slips end and the gully begins.
There are 6
but
slips plus Simpson. So there's 7 people in catching positions.
It's either 4 slips and a gully or it's 5 slips. I'm going to go 5 slips.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of a gap they've created for themselves now, but it's
short leg.
Henry Krocombe. Henry Krocombe on a hat trick. Can he fire Sussex to promotion with a hat trick, or it's a short ball which it's got out of the way of by Goodman, and it goes through to Simpson. I don't know. I mean, he's just taken 2 wickets with 2 full balls. I don't know why he went short then.
This field is great, though.
Yeah, we're not at Somerset against Surrey levels of field yet.
But mid-wicket and an extra, and that's about it, isn't it?
It is a seamer's equivalent, as Ed says, as Krocombe comes into bowls, and there's a big appeal, but no, says the umpire. Now there's going to be a shot at the stumps, and that just misses, and whether he would have been home or not, I've got no idea. There's a leg by in amongst all that. Sophia's got her hands on her head.
Well, he couldn't shy at the bowler's end because there would be no one backing it up.
No, that would have gone for 4 overthrows. Then Sussex would have had to bat again. It would have all been all sorts of chaos. I know I've extended my I don't know if I've extended my welcome, but I'm going to see if Sussex get this.
It's me to go, not you.
Oh well, it's not me, it's you. Or it's not you, it's me. Whatever it is. Anyway, Krocombe comes into bowl to Price, and Price covers up and plays out into the leg side. But what an over from Henry Krocombe. 3 for 22 is his figures, but he's just bowled a double wicket maiden, which has hauled Sussex close to Division 1. And Gloucestershire are at the end of it 192 for 9, trailing by 10.
That might be the last I speak. Who knows?
Oh yeah, you've been done by Henry Krocombe there. That's so unfair.
Well, who knows? They're trailing
Hospital
by 10.
pass. Mind you, you'll be able to get to your tennis.
Well, yeah, I did think that. That was one thing I did think.
Your tennis is not under threat. Put it that way.
It'll be early.
Yeah, you'll be very early.
I'll probably still be late. But yeah.
All right then, Sophia. Well, if I don't
thanks very much
speak to you before your next stint, then thank you very much for that half an hour. And Ed Seaborn will be joining me in a moment. So Sussex then, edging ever closer. Bertie Foreman, what a moment it would be if he could take the wicket that wins the game and promotion for Sussex. Ed is joining me in his favourite seat. And Foreman, with Sussex needing 1 wicket to earn promotion to Division 1 bowls, and that's going to go down to backward a square, no run. Well, Ed, it's all been happening.
It has. It's been very dramatic, and all credit to Henry Krocombe, a couple of magnificent deliveries to bowl to lower order batters.
Sussex 1 wicket away from promotion as Foreman comes in and bowls, and that's been run off the face of the bat down towards the third man boundary, but it'll only be a single, and they are still ticking off the runs. They need 9 to make Sussex bat again, and Foreman will just have maybe a few... Well, I'm sure he's got it all together as a cricketer and as a man, but be forgiven for having a few butterflies. Could be the man. As he now comes in, Bertie Foreman, with Sussex needing one to seal it. As we are joined by listeners to 5 Live Sports Extra. Radio 5 Sports Extra, I should get the branding right. Sussex needing 1 wicket to earn promotion to Division 1. And we got Bertie Foreman, who is one of the many local lads in this Sussex team, making his first class debut, bowling to Goodman, who has a single to his name. Tom Price at the other end, 23 not out. Gloucestershire 194 for 9, needing 8 to make Sussex bat again. And I'm joined by Ed Seaborn, as Foreman now looking to wrap things up for Sussex. Round the wicket to the right-handed Goodman, who plays that out into mid-wicket. So there are a couple of slips. There's a short leg in place. So backward point. There is a wide mid-off or extra cover. But there's also a man now. Ollie Robinson's gone back a few yards to a half and half, mid-on, long-on. As... Foreman comes in and bowls, and he's floated that up, and it's a bit of a full toss, but it's well fielded by Jaydev Anadkat.
You got a ball to hammer away there to Tom Goodman.
Goodman, the last man standing for Gloucestershire, alongside Price, Tom Price. Gloucestershire 194 for 9. Still needing 8 runs to make Sussex bat again under cloud at Bristol, as Foreman comes in and bowls. And again, it's a similar sort of ball, and it's driven by Goodman this time, and he will pick up a single at the end of the over. It keeps him on strike. I'm saying nothing about that particular ball to that particular field that allowed that particular single.
No, well, it's intelligent stuff, isn't it? And Gloucestershire have already shown that they're not particularly bothered about Goodman taking a single to keep the strike, because essentially if Gloucestershire yeah, alright, I checked myself, but anyway, let's just say this partnership continues. It's going to have to go a long time with Tom Price keeping the strike all the time, so he may as well just trust Dom Goodman, and I'm sure that he will do, because Goodman, as really everybody can nowadays, Goodman can hold a bat, so you know, he'll still be talking him through what he needs to do at this point. It's going to be a tough call to face Henry Krocombe early on in his innings with his tail up. He's bowling excellent pace, getting those Yorkers in, but he's going to have to face a lot of tough bowling. I think you'd probably better talk until such point as maybe they erase the deficit at least.
Okay, we'll see Henry Krocombe coming in and bowling. And there's a big shot for LBW. He's out, and Sussex have won, and with it clinch promotion to the top flight of the county championship for the first time in 9 years. And Henry Krocombe has delivered with a burst of fast bowling, 2 Yorkers and an LBW to eliminate the Gloucestershire tail. That one was full. It hit him on the boot. It was going on to hit the bottom of Middleton leg, and Krocombe gets his man. Sussex have won, and with it they will play in Division 1 of the County Championship next season.
Well, enormous congratulations to Sussex. That is a huge moment for a side that has had to wait for this moment for so many years. There's been some pain, I think, down at Hove in recent times as a young side has gone through growing pains, but it's got to a point where Sussex decided now is the time. We've got the side that has developed over the years. We'll bring in just a couple of extra people who have done a magnificent job for them in terms of helping to elevate their young players that they've built up through their academy. They've done it absolutely the right way of Sussex, and I think this is why it's a story that every county cricket fan should be able to get right behind, because they've built this up almost from the ground of Sussex to get to this moment where they get back into the top flight and have a chance to go on and really stamp their authority on the top flight as well. Huge congratulations to Sussex. Excellent stuff from Henry Krocombe as well to mop the tail up there. He really did show what he was about there. He looks to me to be pretty much a kind of a shining example of what Sussex have done, actually, in terms of that he's made his debut very young. He wasn't always the most accurate when he first came onto the scene, but he was a young bowler trying to bowl quickly, and as Sussex have grown, he has grown as a bowler to a point where he can mop up a tail like that. 4 for 22, and massive congratulations to Sussex. I'm sure Gloucestershire will be absolutely magnanimous in defeat as well. And well, Gloucestershire had their moment at the weekend, but this is very much Sussex's moment today. Congratulations to them.
Some fine, generous words from Ed Seacombe from BBC Radio Bristol. And yes, as you rightly say, Sussex have had a couple of lean years in the Championship whilst they were developing those youngsters, and it really is testament to the work that Paul Farbrace has done in developing these players. You just heard Ed Seaborn say that putting faith in those players and doing it. I don't know if you actually use this phrase, but doing it the right way.
Yes, yeah, I did. Yeah, it feels like they have the building from within. They've not looked at a side which they could have done a while back, and they were losing players left, right and centre, senior players to other counties. They've not gone, right, we need to go grabbing players from elsewhere. We're going to do this from our academy. These are Sussex lads who've achieved this promotion, supplemented by just a couple of overseas and senior players brought in from the outside. That's the way that it feels that it should be done.
And also, led beautifully on the field by John Simpson, whose runs, of course, have been crucial, but his field settings. The players have exited the field, and I'll just give you a quick summary of the match. Gloucestershire bowled out for 109. Jada Van Adcat taking 4 for 32. Sussex replied with 311. Jack Carson 71 and John Simpson 61. Zafar Gohar taking 6 for 76. And then Gloucestershire in their second innings bowled out for 195. Dent making 61. Hammond 41. Henry Crocombe's burst giving him 4 for 22 towards the end. Jada Van Adcat 3 for 39. So Sussex winning by an innings and 7 runs, and with it taking promotion to the First Division of the County Championship. I've got to go off and get reaction for BBC Radio Sussex, which you shall see on our Twitter feed, BBC Sussex Sport, as soon as we can. But for myself, Andrew Rayburn, I don't know what Ed's doing, but
yes,
I'm going to depart.
Thank you very much, Andrew. It's been a pleasure in the end, just day and not even a session. We've been working together. Adrian Harms, get well soon, and I'm sure he'll be back in due course. But anyway, Sussex have clinched it today. No need for day 4. Paul Farbrace, nice to see him go and shake hands with a member of the Gloucestershire ground staff, and it has been a really good pitch, this one. There's still been some carry in it on day 3. There's been some turn. Runs could be scored on it if you could get yourself in. I think it's been a really excellent surface for this final Gloucestershire game of 2024 at Bristol. There is still the small matter of England versus Australia here in, 10 days' time to round off the cricketing season at Bristol. But in terms of Gloucestershire, that is the end of their home cricket for 2024. And I don't enjoy saying this, but it probably does need to be said that Gloucestershire's wait for a home victory in the County Championship goes on. They still have not won a home championship match since September of 2022. So they'll be hoping that is something that they can put right in 2025. But really, to be honest, as far as this game goes from a Gloucestershire perspective, they kind of almost did what they were setting out to do for the season on Saturday, and particularly on day one, I think it was fairly clear that the effects of the weekend had still carried over to that first innings, and you would be an extremely hard-hearted individual, if I may say so, if you weren't to blame the players for wanting to celebrate that Blast Trophy win in style. So Sussex, they've come in, they've done the job, they've won by an innings and 7 runs and are heading to Division 1, so best of luck to Sussex there. Gloucestershire's last game of 2024 is at Cardiff, where they face Glamorgan. That is in a week's time today, and who knows, Glamorgan may well be able to celebrate a trophy win with Gloucestershire as well, with the One Day Cup final taking place in just 3 days' time on Sunday. Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy final on Saturday as well. There's still plenty of cricket left in the season as we cling on to the dying embers of the 2024 season. Thanks again to Andrew Rayburn and to Sophia Smale. It's a shame we couldn't have you on for a little bit longer, but that is the way that it has gone. Many thanks as ever to James Healy, who's been operating the stream over the course of this game and throughout the season. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And from Bristol this season, from us, it is goodbye. As far as this game's concerned, that is that. And we will speak to you again on the BBC Sport website and app from a Gloucestershire point of view on September the 26th, and from a Sussex point of view as well, for the final round of fixtures. Sussex taking on Middlesex at Hove, Gloucestershire versus Glamorgan at Cardiff. Until then, goodbye.